People will often tell you that it's not possible to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. They often use their famous British proverb, chase two hares, catch none, something like that. But I agree completely if you're looking to get like stage ready or you're looking to compete in a bodybuilding show, then I completely agree. Focus on a bulk and focus on a cut and kind of go more or less all out on both. But the likelihood is you're not looking to compete and you're not looking to jump on stage. So I suggest actually doing both of them at the same time. It is possible, and it's actually more productive because you're going to end up with a lean and more muscular physique, and you're not going to have to go through that stage of cutting all the way down, becoming skinny, and then bulking all the way back up, which is extremely frustrating. Trust me, I've been there and done it. There's a lot more room basically for error, and there's a lot more room for you to just say, okay, I can't be bothered with this, I'm getting too fat, or I can't be bothered with this, like now I look too skinny. A 2020 paper by Barakat et al. Actually found that a body recomposition is possible. And not only did they find that it's possible, they also found that it can be achieved in trained individuals as well as overweight, obese, and detrained or untrained individuals. So a variety of populations can benefit from a body recomposition. What your body will do is your body will basically use your stored fat to fuel muscle growth. Anyway, let's get right into my 7 tips on how you can build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Make sure you're following a progressive resistance training program. So not just a resistance training program, you want one that progressive, that follows one of the main principles behind muscle growth, which is progressive overload. You've got to have progressive overload to grow. Basically, the resistance training, as long as it's well formulated, it will create the stimulus for your muscle to grow. It will tell your muscles to grow, to adapt to the stress you're placing upon it. And that stress has to increase in terms of weight, in terms of reps. Something has to change. The two most popular are weight and reps. Sets is also a big one, increasing the frequency you're training your muscle group. But I would say focus on the reps, increasing the reps within a range and adding weight when you hit the maximum of that range. If you're just starting out like you're in your first year, I would say that you will be able to increase your weight most weeks, not every week, but as long as your program is following, it's never going to be like linear. As long as it's following some sort of linear trend over time, over 4, over 6 or 8 weeks, then you're heading in the right direction and you're progressively overloading. Make sure your form does not sacrifice. Some people will add weight, continue to add weight, their form will get worse. There'll be less tension on the actual muscle, which means you're not going to grow as much, but you'll be lifting more weights and you'll end up with just DOMs, like pains in your joints and surrounding areas rather than the actual muscle. So make sure you're progressively overloading your routine. And the next one is kind of the same, well, it's tied up in the same thing. If you're following a progressive plan, even if that progressive plan, I mean, if you're not progressing, then you probably got to look at volume as well. Volume is important. You've got to make sure you're not doing too much or doing too little. Too much can stop you progressing, so can too little as well. So the recommended, well, what's recommended in most of the literature is between 10 and 20 hard sets per muscle group per week. And I suggest actually starting on the lower end, see how your body adapts, and then increasing accordingly as well. Some muscles may need more volume and some muscles less volume. We're all different. Our muscles respond in different ways. Eat at maintenance calories or a slight deficit. I did a more comprehensive video on maintenance calories and building muscle a short while back, which you can watch above, but just for this video's sake, I recommend starting at maintenance, to be fair, and then you can create a slight deficit over time depending on how your body is adapting. And you can work out your maintenance in a more simple way, just timesing your body weight in pounds by 15. That gives you just a rough estimate of your maintenance calories. Or you can be more technical and you can work it out using the Mifflin-St. Jean equation. I probably completely butchered that last name, but this equation is the most accurate equation in a trained population. So people that are doing resistance training, this is the equation. And it's on screen now, so you can use it to work out your BMR, the first stage, and then work out your physical activity level, and that is, so you times your BMR by the physical activity level. I kind of remember the equation off the top of my head, but there's no point in me even saying it. You can just view it, apply it, and then you can punch those numbers into MyFitnessPal if you're tracking, if you're using MyFitnessPal, and then rather than taking their recommendations, which is usually quite a fair bit out. But that's a good idea. And also monitor your body weight over time, see how much you're losing. You shouldn't really be losing more than 0.5 to 0.7% of your body weight a week. And I'd say maybe more to the 0.5% if you're looking to, obviously you are, because you're here, maximize muscle growth and maximize fat loss as well. So between that range, just pay attention to your body, take photos, understand how your body is changing over time as well. The next one, make sure you're getting enough protein. This may seem obvious, but still, like the amount of food diaries I view that people are just eating way too little protein, or in some cases way too much. There's so many different recommendations out there. The ACSM guidelines suggest that you eat between 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight to maximize muscle growth. So to maximize muscle growth, you don't need more. There are some studies showing benefits to more, and there are some studies showing that there's no benefits to more. But just start on, I suggest anyway, starting on the lower end. Sometimes when people go like way too far with protein, it can see digestive issues, and that's not something you want. And also you can see when some people go too far, then they like don't have enough carbs or fat, and then they don't have enough energy because it's less efficient for your body to create energy from protein. Your body uses carbs and fat a lot better than it does protein for energy, and you don't want to be obviously wasting money as well, because protein is more expensive. So stick within those ranges, start at the lower end, and then you can move it slightly up if you want. This can be a controversial one, but I suggest keeping cardio to a minimum when you're looking to maximize muscle growth and lose fat at the same time. You'll hear some people say that, you need to do cardio, blah, blah. But a lot of these people that do it and have like insane physiques, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them, they probably likely enhanced and don't see the negative effects that cardio can have on building muscle in terms of fatigue, in terms of also on a cellular level as well. Basically what you're doing there is you're sending your body one signal to build muscle through the resistance training. Then you're sending it a different signal with the endurance, the cardio. You're telling it to become aerobically fit. So within those mixed signals, you're just not going to maximize muscle growth. And it doesn't have the opposite effect. So if you're looking to maximize aerobic adaptations, you're looking to get fit as anything, weights doesn't have an impact on that. But anyway, it's a big topic, and it's definitely a video within itself. It's actually known in the literature as the interference effect, and that was discovered by Dr. Robert Hickson in 1980s. And like I said, it can be a video in itself because there's nuances as well that goes along with that. But generally speaking, I don't advise doing cardio, definitely not on the same day. I don't advise doing more than 1 to 2 sessions a week if you're going to do them on separate days. And that's if you just want to getting the extra exercise, but just bear in mind your recovery and bear in mind the fatigue as well. I actually suggest instead walking. Walking has numerous benefits. It lowers stress levels. It's like seriously relaxing, and it's easy to do as well. It's low impact on your joints. You can walk every single day, and if you walk every single day and you get in about 10,000 steps, for example, or you get between your day, because of the walking as well, you get in around 10,000 steps, you're probably burning around 500 calories extra a day, roughly. And that's going to be significant in terms of your just helping your body burn more fat. And also, the thing with walking is, like I said, it's something you can do every single day. And it's not that hard to get 10,000 steps in when you're walking. Walk for maybe 5 kilometers, and that is around 10,000 steps. Avoid prolonged fasting. You're probably going to tell me, oh yeah, but I've been doing fasting, I've been building muscle fine. You can still build muscle when you fast, but it's just not optimal. Fasting is just a great tool for fat loss, weight loss, because you're restricting your eating window, and when you restrict your eating window, you've got less opportunity to overeat, and you're following strict guidelines. But when it comes to building muscle, when you compress that eating window, you've got less feedings of protein. Less feedings of protein is going to lead to less muscle protein synthesis and lead to less muscle gains. I don't suggest having like 6 to 8 meals. It's 4 feedings of protein seems to be optimal in the literature. So I wouldn't suggest going over 4 unless you struggle to get in your protein intake over, say, those over those 4 feedings, you need a 5th one. That's completely fine, but I wouldn't stress to go over 4. There's no real added benefits, and if there are added benefits, they're extremely small and you're not going to notice them. So I suggest 4 feedings unless you can't get your protein in within those 4 feedings. Last but definitely not least, make sure you're optimizing your recovery. Getting a good night's sleep and ensure you have the energy to work out hard and also to recover between your workouts. And a lack of sleep has actually been shown to impact muscle growth and fat loss. A particular 2018 study by Wang et al. Showed just 1 hour less sleep a night led to less fat loss. So make sure you're getting enough sleep. I recommend a minimum of 7 hours night sleep. If you can go all the way to 8, that'd be great. And in some cases, if you can get 9 as well, that's going to be benefit. Between 7 and 9, but a minimum of 7 hours to ensure you're well rested and you're able to hit the gym or train as hard as you can and keep progressing. I wouldn't say as hard as you can, because that can be a bit, go the wrong way. But yeah, to make sure you can continuously train harder week after week and, put maximum effort into your session. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting to this point. If you have any questions, comment below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up. And also, if you found it useful, if you could share that with a friend, share the video with a friend, that'd be great for me being more discoverable and the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, until the next video, keep pushing those limits.